folks, and welcome to episode 52 of my making podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about my finished object that I'm also wearing, one main whip, and then all of my autumn knitting plans, which I'm super excited about. As you can tell, if you're new here, welcome to this channel. My name is Marlene. I'm a maker based in Germany. I knit and I sometimes sew and I spin yarn. I do work at my local yarn shop as well, and I'm in charge of marketing there. And yeah, I kind of do this YouTube thing on the side. I usually post two videos a month. I do vlogs and podcasts like this regular format, but then I also sometimes do some like special episodes. But I did decide on kind of like putting my 50-second podcast and my autumn knitting plans, just like merging them, because otherwise my podcast would have been really short. And upcoming whips are like such a big part of that. I also have some quilting updates, some spinning updates, so quite a bit of making, like different kinds of making in this podcast, and I'm so excited to be chatting with y'all. I mean, I'm chatting to the camera, but I'm excited to be reading the comments afterwards already. I love chatting with y'all in the comments and hearing what you all have to say about whatever I've been making, whatever you've been making, any like similarities, learnings. I'm always learning so much from the comment sections, like the conversations we've been having about like combination knitting to neaten up your purl stitches, or that's just the one thing that comes to mind. But I think we're learning a lot from each other here, and I love watching podcasts as well. I have just been watching Meghan's newest podcast, what's her name? She's like a naughty mess. I'm looking because I've just like paused the video on my TV. I've also been really enjoying the names, like why I'm so bad with names, I don't remember. Like I don't understand. Rachel from Rachel's Knitting, I've been really loving watching her videos. I've just watched this morning the newest episode of the Gently Chaotic Knits podcast by Emily, and I really love that. And also the Tiny Human Knits podcast by Laura is one of my favorites. So there are just like a few recommendations. If you're wanting to continue watching this video, I appreciate it. But then maybe if you've like been curating a little bit of a knitting podcast playlist, those were some that I really highly recommend and that I love watching myself. I didn't plan to say any of this, but most people tell me that they kind of like the ramblings or musings, and this is a podcast that I do, so why not put a bit of my personality into it? There have been people who've been telling me to tone down personal opinion, and I think those people don't get what a knitting podcast is. It's also about the person doing it, not just about the knitting. So I know most people get that, and that you're here because you like to see what I'm doing, and me as a person is not separate to my making. Another ramble. Let's get into my Olga. Let's get into my finished object that I'm wearing. This is the Olga sweater by Petite Knit. By this point, I think it is not maybe at the same point, but close to the ranunculus in a way, as in that so many knitters have made this. Maybe not to the same kind of deal, but in recent months, so many people that I follow have also made this. And so at the first time that I saw this, I wasn't blown away. It's a drop shoulder striped pullover, so nothing super special, but obviously it's like the Petite Knit oversized cute fit. And then over the year, I think it came out about like a year and a bit ago, not sure about that, but sometime around then, so many people have made it in so many cute colors. I'm actually getting a bit warm, but I'm trying to wear this as long as possible. A couple of people whose style I love and whose knitting I love have made this. And eventually my friend Joanna convinced me to make this, and I've actually made this really similar to her version. Joanna is one of my friends from my Easter sisterhood. We're like a knitting group of 4 women. We're all making different versions, but with like overlapping themes. I think we're all using some sort of tweed yarn as a contrast. Most of us are doing green, one of us is doing red, and then Joanna is working on like a second summery version, but in the cardigan as well. So, however, that is lots of details about this like kind of knit along with my friends. But about the project itself, I used the Peer Gynt by Sandnes Garn in the like piney green color from the Petite Knit collection, and then the natural Tutti Frutti. I have more details like the color numbers and such amounts of yarn that I used in my Ravelry page, which you can find linked down below. And if you've got any more questions, as always, you can ask me whatever you want in the comment section down below. I did cast this on a 4mm needle. I did realize quite quickly that I found it to be a bit too stiff for my gauge. I'm a bit of a tighter knitter, like a medium to tight knitter, I like to say. So I switched to a 4.5mm needle after finishing the back panel, which I thought wouldn't be too bad, because I thought it would block out enough for like, so no one would really be able to see. I can actually try and show you the back. Let's see if this is possible. I don't think like that you're really able to see a difference. And then I knitted the rest of the sweater on a 4.5mm needle and blocked this. It turned out lovely. With blocking, it's like kind of an easy to throw on basic, but then also kind of fun and cute because of the stripes sweater. And another thing that I did, which wasn't intentional, but when I had finished my first sleeve and I had bound off my ribbing, which for the ribbings I then used a 4mm needle, I started working on my second sleeve, and this has happened to me more times than I would like to admit. I used the same needle to cast on the second sleeve, which, like I said, I had knitted the rest of the sweater on a 4.5mm needle, but then cast on the second sleeve with a 4mm needle. I don't think you're able to tell. I might have just relaxed into the pattern a bit more. I realized some way like halfway through it and checked like the sleeve to the rest of the body and try to see if there was a huge difference. I decided to just go ahead and do the entire sleeve on a 4mm needle, and I don't think you're able to see. This is a bit of a chaotic mess, and I could tell how other people wouldn't want to knit like that, but I guess I didn't really mind. In the end, I decided that I wouldn't mind, and that you would probably not be able to tell after blocking. So yeah, those were the mistakes and the decisions I made on this Olga sweater. I gotta be honest, I like it and I think it's kind of cute. Does it fit into my wardrobe perfectly? I'm not sure. When I look at my other projects that I want to make, and also some of the striped sweaters I've already done, I'd say that striped things aren't my all-time favorite thing. I think I like texture a bit more than color work in a way, although this obviously isn't like color work really, but it's like a color changing project. Like it has multiple colors. I do think it does suit me, and I will wear it, especially to our weekend, like our knitting weekend in November. But would I make it again? I don't think I would. And I am more so excited for the other projects that are on my needles and are planning to jump on my needles or planning on being cast on soon. So yeah, it's more of, I wasn't sure if I wanted to say something negative about this, but to be fair, I don't think every finished object can be like a 10 out of 10 banger. Like, love this forever and ever and ever project. I think some projects are just like nice because they're made with like an intention that's outside of, it fits perfectly into my like envisioned wardrobe. I do have like a board on Pinterest that's called a maker's outfit, and that's like the aesthetic that I aspire to I don't know, reach with what I have in my wardrobe. And I don't get there every day. I think most people would say that they don't like find the perfect outfit every day, and like I think that's fair. But with this, I will have to learn to style it. I wore it one day with like short jeans shorts, and one of my friends told me that I looked kind of like the camp counselor from like the 80s who everyone has a crush on, and I was like, okay, I take that. That was such a cute compliment. But then the next day I wore it with like, I have like a curry yellow backpack and like red shoes and a red cap, and I just felt like a kindergartner, and like not in a cute way, but more so in like a primary colors aren't really my thing, but I'm like wearing them all over with like light denim jeans, and I just felt horrible all day. Not in like the individual pieces I love, but the combination was just off. So wrong. And I know like that might sound like so dramatic, but not feeling cute in your outfit, especially when you're like meeting people all day, every day, I don't know, like it does help quite a bit. At least it helps me to feel good in what I'm wearing and like how I'm feeling in my own skin on a day when I'm at work. And I guess like most people would understand or like relate to that, I guess. So yeah, this is more of like a it needs to fit the outfit kind of thing, and then I do really like it, but it's also not a I love this finished object. And I haven't really told this to my friends, and I hope they won't mind because they all watch the podcast and they're so sweet and supportive. But yeah, I guess they will understand. It's more of like a I don't think I would have made this if it weren't for them, but I love that I did because they're my friends, and I'm looking forward to be matching with them. Okay, that was quite a bit about this project. One last thing, I do have like 90% or 90 grams of almost 90 grams of the Tutti Frutti left, and like 50 grams. I literally used like 2 meters of this, but it's been too long since I bought these, so I can't, obviously I did take 2 meters, so it still weighs 50 grams, but I obviously wouldn't return it. I could return this one skein, but I think it's been too long, so I can't return it. We take back like single skeins for I think 3 months, and this has been in my stash, I would say maybe for like 5 months. So I will keep it, but I don't think it's a problem because I could really see myself making a scrappy kid sweater with this, maybe for one of my nieces and nephews or for future like children of some of my friends. So if I do knit a kid sweater in the future, I think this with some more leftover colors from like color work mittens, I think like a Holger, I think is the kid version of the Olga kind of thing from Petite Knit. I think that's great for leftovers. So yeah, that goes back into my stash. Coming up with my main whip. This is a test knit that I started. I've shown you, did I show you this? I'm not sure how far I was last time, but now I'm actually almost finished. This is my main whip, and I will be focusing on this until it is ready. This is the Mabel Meadow cardigan by Mikeila the Labo. And I did give this a major mid-project block because I was really scared that it would be too like close fitting. But the mid-project block actually gave me some peace of mind that it is indeed wide enough. The lace opened up quite nicely, the cables opened up, all of that, I was anticipating it happening, but it also, I didn't want to knit through the entirety of the second sleeve while thinking, oh my god, this is not gonna fit, this is gonna sit so terribly on my body. Like it's not going to be the cardigan that I was hoping for. So it did help me. I mean, I was thinking about what was I going to do if it didn't block. I wasn't going to just like stop working on it. I couldn't have like ripped out the entire thing. So the thing that is different to, I would say, all of the other people knitting this test is that I'm only using a sport weight yarn. This is the Retrosaria Rosa Pomar Vovo. It's a Portuguese 100% wool. And the pattern actually calls for a sport and a heavy lace. So I omitted one of the two strands, but I'm still knitting on the recommended needle. And it did work out. Like I did knit a swatch, and the one thing that I was a bit hesitant about was that some yarns, when you do swatch them, they bloom wonderfully, but then also they kind of jump back, like they don't hold the stitch gauge over a long period of time. They do stretch, but then they kind of, I don't know, jump back is like the one word that comes to mind. But I think you'll understand what I'm trying to say, I hope, at least. But that didn't happen so far. So the extra room in the cardigan stayed as it did over, like, since I blocked it. I did finish all the button bands and all of that. I did Italian bind-offs for all of that, for all of it, and I'm like so happy that I did the mid-project block. I can show you the length of sleeve that I'm now at. So I would say this is like 2 more days, maybe 3 more days of knitting. It is a 5mm needle, and it's a really like potato chippy project and also pattern. I do use the chart while knitting it just to like mark whatever row I've just done, but it's not like I need to look at it like every second of the way through the project. It's more of like a keeping track of where I'm at situation. So it is a somewhat mindless knit now that I'm like on the second sleeve. I've knit the pattern so many times. It's really, really nice. This is going to be one of my Rhinebeck sweaters. I'm really looking forward to wearing this. I think it'll be perfect. It's like really lightweight. Like I said, it's a sport weight yarn knitted on a 5mm needle. So it's really light, and I think it'll be perfect if the weather's a bit warmer like it was last year at Rhinebeck. I think it'll be nice to have something more lightweight, but then I could also layer up if I'm colder. So I think cardigans are actually the better Rhinebeck sweater. Maybe that's a hot take, but yeah. Yeah, so I'm finishing up my sleeve, and then I'm going to reblock it again, focusing on opening up the lace on the sleeves and hoping that they won't get too long because they're at a nice level now. With some sleeve, for example, the Olga, I had knitted this for it to be a bit too short, but because of the pretty deep like drop shoulder, I'm not sure if you can see, now it is at a perfect, like, I can do anything with this sleeve length, like do the dishes, read a book, I don't know, go out on a walk, like hold someone's hand. But then I can also kind of stuck my hands into it without stretching it too much, and I can be super cozy. I sometimes like to do this, but I don't want it to be this long all the time. So I want it to kind of jump back so I can do other stuff. And I want that kind of length. I like it to be kind of like bracelet length, I guess is what that is. One thing that I did change about this. So first of all, I'm not knitting the version with the cord, like the I cord going through here. There will be there are different options in the pattern, so you can choose. The original patterns from the pattern that Famke did had the I cord, and she's knitting on a second version. I think that won't have the I cord, so you can see in the finished project pictures the two options a bit better. I had to use my imagination a bit more to kind of figure out how it would look like on me, because the original version I would say is a bit more dainty and like cute than I would probably go for myself, but I think I made this to be like the perfect style for myself, which yeah, I'm like super happy with. So I did omit those. I also did just do two like decrease 2 stitches for the buttonholes, because I did use buttons that were a bit smaller than in the original pattern. So the pattern called for casting or binding off 3 stitches, and I bound off 2 stitches, and then in the next row cast on 2 stitches again. So that's a modification I did. And then the last modification was for the sleeves, and I'll show you on my first finished sleeve. So there is an option for tapered sleeve and for like balloon sleeves, kind of. I think she calls it a different thing, but they're basically balloon sleeve. I wanted to do the tapered version, I knew that, but when I did the kind of rhythm of decreases that she called for my size, which I'm doing size medium, I think, yeah, size 4 maybe, I realized quickly that that was going to be too much of a decrease for my taste, for my arm size too. So I did stop any of the decreases, I think like kind of halfway through, about here, which is I think quite nice. I do have enough room, and I do have enough room for my biceps as well, but I also don't have like a super slim fitting sleeve here. So yeah, that's just what I did. I omitted, like, I would say the last third of the decreases I omitted. So yeah, I will put all of these things, especially when I'm like done with it, I will put these things in my Ravelry notes, so you can have a look at them if you want to knit this. One last thing about this is also my row gauge was a bit shorter than Famke's row gauge in the pattern. So with blocking, I did achieve the regular gauge, so the width of the like bust measurement is the exact same than the pattern called for the size I'm making, but the length is a bit shorter. So I think that's one of the reasons why the decreases came up too fast. And also with blocking, I assume that I could have gone a bit further with the decreases and then just block it out a bit more. But yeah, I just decided I really, really didn't want to have them too tapered. So I went for a bit of a like mix of the two kinds of sleeves. I did do one decrease before starting the ribbing again. And then, like I said, did Italian bind off on all of them. So yeah, that was everything about my meadow cardigan in this beautiful Retro Rosario Rosa Pomar Vovo yarn, which I love and have been getting so many compliments on, so thanks so much. I did also post this in the state of kind of like being a vest, like I didn't have any of the sleeves added, and honestly I could really like see this being a cute option. The designer mentioned that she could see herself, like that she might also add a vest option in the future. So yeah, my main project, I will be finishing this within the next couple of days, I'm sure. And yeah, moving on to like a little bit of a side project. I just cast this on. This is a DRK everyday sock, and I did cast this on to reach my goal of learning how to knit socks from the toes. This looks hilarious. I'm not gonna comment, but yeah. Okay, so trying to put this on my hand so it does look a bit more like it does on my foot. It is a toe up 2x2 rib pattern. I am just before the heel now. This is a new technique to me, knitting the heel flap and gusset like toe up, so I will learn this now. It's a pattern by Andrea Mauri. I hope I mentioned this, and I'm knitting it in one of the Zauberball crazy yarns by Shoppe Wolle. This is a German yarn brand. We do sell this at my local yarn shop, and I did get a couple here and there because I just love the look. I've made one pair before that I love. I have another skein in stash for my mum, and this one will be for my friend Eileen. Eileen doesn't watch the podcast. I'm pretty sure she has started knitting, but more chilled. Like, she knits sometimes. She's not like a full-time knitter, kind of, you know. I don't think she's that into it, but so I don't think she watches the podcast. If she does, now she knows. I don't think she does. It's her birthday in a month, roundabout. I do have a bit more time than that. And yeah, I really would love to knit her some socks. She has been a friend for many years. I actually met her in university, and we've been friends ever since. She has not been living in Marburg for some time now, but we're not the best at it, but we're trying to hold contact over the long distance. And yeah, she's just a dear friend of mine, and I would want to knit her some socks. So my goal, as I told you before, was to knit 9 pairs of socks from stash. Now that was a bit far stretched, I think, the goal, because working at a yarn shop and like sometimes also going to like yarny festivals, just grabbing like one skein of sock yarn is like so easy. And like I fall in love with sock yarns all the time. So I did manage so far 4 pairs of socks from stash. And then I started a new count for socks that I didn't make with stash yarn, but with newly acquired yarn. Though, to be fair, the yarn I got, and then like it sat in stash for a month, and then I started knitting with it. And I will count these as finished objects. I did say that I wanted to knit 9 pairs of socks from stash and gift more of them to loved ones. I will add another more in front of stash, and so that will ring true for my Make 9 goals. So with these 2 and then this one cast on, I will be at 7 pairs of socks, and I will have gifted, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So I think that's okay. That's fair. I mean, one I haven't gifted because it's for my mum and it's for Christmas, but it's made and it's stashed away and it's gonna be gifted to her then. So yeah, I just wanted to mention this. I'm a bit sad that I wrote this like ugly socks made with yarn not from stash up here and then like put my washi tape here. I will eventually just at the end of the year count these in here as well, because I don't think I'll be able to knit 5 more pairs from stash. Yeah, just because sometimes new sock yarn comes in and it's beautiful. And yeah, still I did manage a couple from stash, and I think that's fine. Sometimes I set myself goals that then turn out to be unachievable, or that turn out to be not so fun to try to achieve. And I think reiterating and like kind of making your goals fit your life rather than trying to make your life fit those, I mean, arbitrary goals that no one's going to suffer if I don't reach them. I think it's fine to kind of reset them. But yeah, speaking about Make 9 goals, speaking about socks, I can't really say anything more about them other than I love this colorway. It's called Piano Bar, and it will be hard for me to part with them once I give them to my friend. But then also she has my sock size, so it'll be a great, like I can try this on and knit it to fit my feet perfectly and then gift them to her for her birthday. And then sometimes in the past, I've only used about like 50 to 60 grams, depending on how high I do the leg. So I might have enough left to make myself another pair, which I think is, yeah, really nice. So yeah, I would love to finish these before, I think like October, like mid-October. And then there would be another, let me see, 3, another 2 to reach my goal of knitting 9 pairs. I think that should be achievable. I will try and do that. I have 1 pair that I have 1 sock done already, but I need yarn that I ordered to my friend's house in the US to get that yarn to be able to finish it. Actually, a really kind viewer offered to send me some of the Archer by Coast to Coast from the sock yarn, because I didn't have enough to finish my second quilty cabin sock pair, and that got lost, unfortunately. And so I did purchase it again, but again, I didn't say this on here yet, but I wanted to say thanks to the person who offered to send me 20 grams from their stash. And yeah, I did pay for shipping. Unfortunately, it did get lost, but I'm still so grateful for this community and people like reaching out and being like, yeah, I'll share my skein with you, which was so kind. And I'm bummed that it got lost, but I did get a full new skein, and I'll be finishing that. So that will be one of those. And then I have my Tiny Human Knits, the Christmas Carols, I think it's called, and I will knit them for Christmas. So then I'll reach my 9 pairs of socks. Sock knitting will be a bit bigger in Socktober again, obviously, and we'll see how many more I can get done, but I feel quite happy and good on that goal. But yeah, speaking a bit more about autumn knitting plans, because I do feel like I really had to look at my Make 9 and then decide of what things I felt more like drawn to maybe for the winter time and which projects I wanted to try and get done now. And then also what kind of projects that aren't on my Make 9 were really like were really like a priority to me. I realized this year that the Make 9 kind of planning isn't gonna work for me in the future, but I'm still trying to achieve it this year as best as I can, because all of the plans I'm like super excited for still. My problem is that just other beautiful projects just come into my life through new patterns that are released, through test knits, through friends inspiring me. So I will try and come up with a new system for next year. I've actually come up with a new system already, but I won't spoil it. I will do a video about that at the end of the year. So just saying that I'm kind of seeing that this is creating or causing a bit more stress than I would like it to, since I didn't put any of my summer knitting plans into it, and I would love a bit more flexibility. So putting it out there, I've gotten some really helpful comments which have like gone into my planning for next year, or my planning on how I want to plan for next year. If this sounds like stressful to you, be like, rest assured, I love the planning aspect of it. That's not the part that gets me stressed. It's the part of like not achieving stuff that I've set out to do, because I didn't plan enough like space and spontaneity into the plans. That's what's kind of difficult sometimes for me. But yeah, I hope it's not like annoying to people that I talk about this too much. I hope you understand that it's like so much of what makes knitting fun for me. But yeah, recently I've been finding that even if I do have a couple of cast on projects, that I do knit somewhat monogamously on one main project, which I found quite nice. But I also like to have a couple of projects to choose from, which ones to take with me, like on the go, which ones to focus on after work, and so on. So yeah, let's talk about my knitting plans for autumn, and then also my road to Rhinebeck knitting plan kind of thing. I did manage to finish this about a week before I had initially said that I wanted to get this done, which I thought was quite nice. I've also set myself the goal of finishing the Mabel Meadow cardigan by the end of next week. I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to finish this by the end of this week. So that gives me another week to focus on my book club cardigan, which is my next upcoming focus project. This hasn't changed since I last showed you. I'm just going to show you to remind you of what I'm doing here. I know this is another pretty far-stretched goal, but I would love to finish this for Rhinebeck. It's 37 days, I think, till I'm leaving for New York. And it might not happen, but I'm still gonna try. The next time you'll see this will have some more progress on it. I promise. I'm promising this to myself because I really would love to wear this to Rhinebeck. And even if I don't manage to finish, this is my next like main focus whip. This is also in my make 9, so it would count as my 5th finished make 9 project. And so yeah, I'm knitting this with the Soulier by Hillesvåg and the Pure Mohair called Extra Klasse by Atelier Citron. And I'm doing a mini cowl with my friend Laura from Tiny Human Knits, and she's already a lot farther ahead. She's done like joining under the arms, so I'm gonna try and catch up with her, and I hope that we'll be able to do more of like an active knit along from then on out. So yeah, I'm gonna zone in and see how far I'll get till Rhinebeck. But yeah, that would be my first autumn knitting plan. My second autumn knitting plan I have swatched for with the North Bay Fiber Heritage Sport in the color Early Maple. And this is the Calm Down Cardigan by Lily Kate Makes. This is the gorgeous woolen spun, I think it is, kind of light DK yarn, knit on a 4mm needle. And yeah, it's this beautiful maple colorway. It does remind me of like really, really reddish kind of autumnal leaves. This will be, when I'll finish it, my 6th make 9 plan. I hope you're able to see. It's on here. And yeah, this pattern at the time was kind of gifted by Lily, the designer. I was able to try on her cardigan, and it's just such a great staple. I've seen so many people that I enjoy watching as well who love their versions. They say it took a bit more time, but it's like so worth it. And I could really see this being such a staple in my wardrobe, so I'm really looking forward to making it. I did buy this yarn at the India Untangled Rhinebeck adjacent event last year, so I think it's nice to be knitting with the yarn now. Yeah, that is my next party cast on after finishing my book club cardigan. I'll put it here. And then coming up after that, I'm going to talk about 2 more sweater slash vest plans that aren't in my make 9, but that I would love to cast on. I will give them the time that they need. If I don't finish them in autumn, if they kind of blend into winter, that's fine. But I have swatched for both of them, and I would love to cast both of them on eventually. I don't think I'll cast any of these on before I finish the book club cardigan. And like I said, the Calm Down will have priority because it's in my make 9 plans. But yeah, I couldn't keep myself from ordering yarn for this from the UNICEF for Gaza fundraiser by Knitting for Olive. And I ordered some soft silk mohair and merino by them in the color Dark Cognac. I've been wanting to knit with this yarn for quite some time. I've been looking at it and it's just such a beautiful tone and color. And I have swatched for the Marielle blouse by Maria Sverden. I cannot pronounce her last name, so I'll put it on the screen. Shay Mogenstad, I think. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that completely, but her name is Maria. And so, yeah, I'll show you the swatch now. I do hope you're able to see. I'll just insert some pictures if the camera's not focusing or if the color's not picking up well. This is another Pointelle inspired knit, and yes, I do love this style. And I know I'm not like alone in that. I know it is also quite popular right now, but yeah, I'm not opposed to liking things that are popular. And when this pattern originally came out, I was hooked immediately. So I know that this won't probably show off the Pointelle lace as well as a light colored Pointelle knit wood. So I do own quite a few like kind of Pointelle-esque machine knit garments, especially like t-shirts. I love to layer them under cardigans. So this is just like a look I've been loving for some time. And with knitting, it's just come in style like so much at the moment. So I could really see myself loving this sweater. Fortunately, I was able to wear or try on, not wear, my best friend Lydia's version. She made a beautiful like lavender-y version of this sweater, and she also fell in love with it immediately when she saw it. And having friends make the patterns that you want to make before or alongside you, first of all, super fun, like knit alongs or matching outfits, but being able to try on their versions, like their whatever size they made, and just see how that fits on you. Perfect. I really recommend. So yeah, this yarn was I was waiting for this to be able to cast this on. The shipping took quite a bit longer because they had so many packages. So this is another autumn knitting plan, and the next one is also a Pointelle inspired knit. I hope you're not like sick of me talking about lace projects, because I'm not stopping. Like, I'm not planning on stopping anytime soon. I'm gonna show you the swatch first. I made a mistake in it, so I'm gonna cover up the mistake. I had a bit of problems in the beginning with like counting stitches in the lace motif, so I messed up the first one. And this one is in the Ökologisk Värdeiså by Camaros, or Camarose, and this is the Mörk Senep, and this will be the Vilma vest by Gregoria Fibers. And I know it is called the Vilma top, but this is gonna be a vest. I don't know why she called it a top. It's 100% wool. It has buttons. It doesn't have any sleeve. It's a vest. Also, it sounds better, the Vilma vest. I don't know. I just called this a vest. Yeah. So with this, I just bought this yesterday. This is the most inexpensive organic wool that I've ever tried. We currently sell this at the yarn shop, but to give you a bit of backside information, this is not going to be produced any longer by Camarose. So if you do want to get your hands on it, now is the time, which is also why I did get this. I got 5 skeins, and this is less than $20 project, which is crazy. Yeah, like I said, this is color 40 Mörk Senep, or Mörk Senep, and I swatched for the Vilma top by Gregoria Fibers. This has been such a popular pattern. This was published like 2 years ago, but recently it's gotten so popular again, which I found really interesting. I've had this in my favorites for a long time, but never like in my queue, like never had any particularly like precise plans to knit it. But then literally right around the same time, my entire friend group, like all of my friends who knit, which are most of my friends, they like put this on their list. They like started knitting this. I think it was around the beginning of the year when I talked about this with my friend Marla, who put it in her Make 9. And then ever since then, like literally all of my friends are either making this right now, wanting to make this, or have just made this. So we're all gonna match. Eventually I will have to do like some sort of event. I don't know. I will have to come up with some sort of event idea for us all to meet up and match and take pictures, because like it's just hilarious. And I love all my friends' versions, but I was able to especially try on my friend Marla's version. So yeah, we had this crafty weekend planned, and she let me wear her version for one of the days, and that was just amazing. I loved her version, I loved her color, and she did actually use another Camarose yarn, but the Sommerwool, which is a blend of yarns, like a woolly yarn and a cotton yarn. But it's a really similar color. I'll insert a picture of me wearing that. And yeah, that was just really nice being able to wear that. I now know that the size that she made would also be really great for me, like around that size. I'm still not sure about if I will make size 4 or 5. A lot of people I'm chatting with have experienced quite some like extra width in their projects in comparison to what the pattern initially says. She does state that testers had experienced a bit of extra growth up until 4 centimeters, but like especially one person, Mikeila from what's her podcast called again? I'm not sure, but I'll link her. She also has a really wonderful podcast. We've been chatting about it, and she had to recast on several times because it always turned out too big. Then my friend Julia, she had to go down with a needle size, which she said she'd never had to do before. And so there were quite a few things like unclear about this pattern. Another thing is that she does state to be casting on with a provisional cast on, which I don't really get why you would have to do that, and I don't really want to do that because I don't love provisional cast ons. And so I will probably just cast on with the binding straight away and then knit up, which is also what Mikeila is doing. So it's been really nice chatting with people who are knitting it right now, who've knitted it before, and try on my friend's version, which I think is like super neat. So yeah, like I said, I'm on the lace knitting Pointelle inspired knits train right now. Yeah, those were my autumn sweater knitting plans. I hope to be getting to as many of them as possible, but I do also have a couple of additional accessory knits, and none of them are in my Make 9 as well, unfortunately, except for one, but I'll get to that when I'm talking about my spinning. So I do have 2 additional plans. One of them is going to be knitting my partner another bayou beanie. This is his favorite hat. He wears this pretty much all throughout winter, and I did make this like, I would say like 4 years ago, maybe even longer. I think this was featured in like one of my first episodes on the channel. This is a pattern by Vitre Design. I hope I'm not like butchering the Scandinavian names and words too much. I'm trying. And I really love making this. This was my first time using Finu by Raumagarn, and I have quite a significant amount of Finu left over in this beautiful rust, in this beautiful like chartreusey curry kind of dark yellowish green. And I asked him which one he would prefer. Oh, fluff. Which one he would prefer like as a hat, and he said that he liked both of them quite a bit, but that he would choose this red if he could. And so his birthday is in November, which I would still consider autumn making. Like these plans are for September, October, November, and then I think going on from December to like February, I think I would consider my winter making plans kind of. So I don't think this will take me very long, but I would love to get it done for him for his birthday, just because he's like, this was the most knit worthy present I think I've ever made, and it wasn't difficult. It does have like a double folded brim. It fits his head perfectly. He says that he's still like not overheating in it too much. He wears this on like bad hair days, or when he's like going to work like really early in winter when he's got like early morning shifts. at his job. So yeah, this is one of my accessory making plans and a gift knit as well. And then another plan that I don't have the yarn with me at the moment will be a night and day cowl by Andrea Maury. I really would love to make this with some yarn from the Book Tropes collection by Coast to Coast Yarn Co., who I'm an affiliate with. And Erin is so kind, and she's sending me 2 skeins of Shanico DK. I have ordered a couple skeins from her first kind of like round of the pre-order for the Book Tropes collection, which is currently being sent to my friend's house, Chelsea, who I'm staying with for the Rhinebeck adventures and like our week together in a month and a bit. And so that was just easier with shipping and all, and Chelsea is so kind to be keeping my parcels, like looking after them for me until I get there, which I'm so grateful about. And yeah, Erin has sent me 2 skeins to be making that. Initially we wanted it to be kind of like a sample knit, the same way in which I made the like quilty hot water bottle cover for her quilt collection. I wanted to do something like book tropey, and I had kind of thought about doing the book cover by Catherine Seeberger, but then again I thought about how much use I would get out of that, and had been looking at the Night and Day cowl by Andrea Maury, and it literally was like the perfect gauge and perfect amount of yarn. And so I do love Catherine's pattern so much, and I could totally see myself making that in the future, but I'm not sure how much I do need a book cover. Whereas a cowl, like I wear my cowls all the time. I just started wearing them again with September rolling around, and the mornings being just a tiny bit chilly, and so I would love to make that. I'll insert the colorway names before, because I'm not sure about the reddish color again. I think the kind of cream with speckles is Unexpected Friendship, and then the rusty color is something with witches, but I'm not sure. So I'll insert it here. And yeah, I would love to make that during my kind of Rhinebeck adventures.
Okay, quick pause here to mention that unfortunately I won't be able to get to the yarn prior to the second round of pre-orders opening for the Book Tropes collection, the sequel. But I'm still planning on knitting this beautiful cowl with it. And if you do want to shop the collection in early October, you can use my affiliate link to do so. And yeah, thank you so much.
And those are 2 kind of accessory knits that aren't on my Make 9 but have still made their way into my plans. The next one is connected with my spinning, and so I'll talk about it while I'm also talking about my spinning, which is for the Hesper shawl by Amy Christoffers. I did show you these 2 finished skeins, and I have been working during the Vuelta a España on my second color, which is a Artifacts of Appreciation, which was a bat, and I did try to spin that woolen, and I have finished this today. I really wanted to finish the singles, but I just have been spinning here and there, not as focused, not as much. I do get some back pain from it, so I can't do it for long stretches of time. But I really would love to ply it really soon. I'm so excited for the Angliru today, which is like the biggest mountain stage in the Vuelta. And yeah, as a cycling kind of nerd, I'm excited to see the GC battles there. I know you're supposed to like kind of have this rest for some time, but I think I might actually be playing it tonight, or like during, like this afternoon during the stage. We'll see. So this is the brown, and this is my like grayish main color. And I probably won't have enough meterage. I do have the same amount of this still unspun in a basket, so I could make more of this, and I will spin it eventually, but I really would love to cast this on to have it also kind of going on the side, because this is my, if I finish this, or when I finish this, this would be my 7th Make 9 plan, the Hesper shawl. The problem with meterage will be this bat. I did have another bat, but that was so close in color to this. And I really wanted this stark contrast, and I didn't want like a color changing yarn. I wanted something to have some like different bits of color in it, but not to have something like going from light to dark or from brown to gray to brown. So I really like the stark contrast, and I really love the tone of this, which is like such a goldeny, like cognac-y, like really true brown. And the other bat that, so this was kindly gifted, the bat. This one I got at Rhinebeck, which is by Bow Layer Orchards, and this is by Artifacts of Appreciation, and she really kindly gifted this to me last year, and I finally got around to spinning it after getting a bit more comfortable with long draw woolen spinning. I just didn't want to muddy the color with the gray, which is why I'm not plying it with another of my fibers. I don't have something that's like close enough in color, so I won't have enough. I do think I've spun these really thin and, like I said, woolen, so I hope to get as much meterage out of them as possible, but I don't think it'll surpass like 300 meters. I don't think it'll surpass that. And I think I need 500 yards, which I'm not exactly sure how many meters, how many meters that is, but it'll be too little. But with the construction of the shawl, I hope to, and please, if you've knit this, tell me if I'm like completely off. But I'm starting like at the top, and then I'm knitting out the like triangular shawl. So I'm thinking I'll just omit the last kind of row of stars, and it'll be shallower, the shawl. I wouldn't mind that. I think it would actually be a bit more wearable for me with that in mind. I am gonna break into this quantity though, which I'm a bit sad about because I won't use all of it, and I don't really know what I'm gonna make with the rest of it. Like, I don't think this is gonna be something that I would want for like a whole set of accessories, because I'm not that into gray, though this is a lovely warm gray, kind of like oatmeal-y tone, so maybe I would make a hat with it and mittens. But yeah, I'm a bit sad because this was quite an expensive fiber as well, and I would have enough to make like a vest or so, and with making this smaller, the shawl, I really won't use all of it, but I think that's fine. I'll still achieve the pattern that I was hoping for. And yeah, like I said, this was gifted, so it's still going to be not a super expensive shawl, and it's going to be all hand spun and like such a, I think, beautiful piece to keep forever. And so yeah, if you've knitted the Hesper before, please do let me know if it's possible to be like shortening it, or if I'm like running into a huge problem with that decision. Yeah, it's just I'm limited on meterage, I think. So that is my last knitting autumnal plan. I have got some sewing and then a couple of acquisition left to talk about, and then I'll talk about some quick life and media stuff, and then this episode will be done. It'll be longer. I think we'll gather that. I hope you're still having fun. If you're having fun with this episode, consider giving it a like. So I'm still working on my wall hanging. I have actually just secured this all together, all 3 layers. I got some batting, and I've added a backing from Stash, just a regular gingham. And now I'm going to hand quilt it. I have decided, with the help of my friend who I asked about this, and who's a lot more experienced with quilting, if I should go, like which direction I should go in. with my quilting, and I was wanting to quilt diagonally, like through these squares, and that's what I'm gonna do. This might take me some time, and I will take it slow because like I don't have any deadline and I want to enjoy it. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And you'll see this once it's like completely hand quilted. Then I'm gonna cut I cut the backing and the batting to be just a bit bigger, so if I have like a bit of like movement while hand stitching it, it won't be like too small in the end. I'm gonna cut that all off. That's what I've seen like professional quilters do online, so I don't know, I just copied them, which is mostly what I do with my quilting. I'm like copying people that I see doing this on a like much higher professional level. And then I'm gonna bind it, and then it's gonna be time to put this on a wall over a bed. And yeah, I can't wait. This already feels so squishy, and I'm sad that this is not gonna be like a full-size quilt. But as I mentioned in my last episode, I'll be getting my full-size quilt in return for like a sweater quantity of spinning fiber and making yarn for Laura. Again, the friend I asked about the quilting. She's coming up in these episodes quite a bit. We've been or have we made jokes about that, or has that just happened in my mind? Yeah. No, I think we did joke about it, that our vlogs are kind of like fan vlogs or fan podcasts of each other because we mention each other kind of like every episode that we film. But yeah, I'm so chuffed with how this is going, and I can't wait to be hand quilting it. That is going to be such a perfect like autumnal activity, like sitting on my couch hand quilting this, and yeah, I don't know, drinking tea, and it fits my color aesthetic perfectly, which I think is autumnal all year round, but especially now it's just perfect. Another quick sewing project will be making a cushion cover out of this. I've had this in stash like for a year and a half. I got this in Berlin on like a fabric market. I just need to do it. I have a tutorial lined up for it. I need to pick whether I want to put a zipper or do like a hotel like opening at the end, where it's like kind of double folded and you can just stuff the pillow into it. Let me know if you've got any opinions on that. I want to do this. I also got, with the batting, I got one remnant of this Southern Stars fabric. It's just like a bit of, like I said, end of bolt, I think it was called. And I would love to make a few little cushions with some lavender that I did dry myself. The funniest story about this, I went on a walk with my mom, who's moved back to the town where I actually was born a couple of years ago. And I was born at home at the time in the 90s. And we went back to the house, which is now an Airbnb, which is weird that people are able to book the house where I was born in to stay there. But yeah, it's been made up beautifully. It was like one of these old German houses. It's called Fachwerk with the beams, and it was just beautiful. And we met the previous owner's granddaughter, who's now living with her family next door. It's like a long story, and she was just cutting lavender. And the nosy, person that I am, I couldn't keep myself from asking her whether she was going to use the lavender that she was cutting. It was like the most luscious and big, beautiful lavender. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna dry it. And do you want some? And I'm like, yes, please. So basically I got some lavender from like the back garden of the house, like next to the house that I was born in 30 years ago. And I dried it, and now I'm gonna make some lavender pouches with it to hopefully be gifting to friends. I hope that I'm not like promising things that I can't keep, but that's what I want to do. This is enough to be also used as like project bags, hopefully, with some other scrappy fabric that I still haven't stashed. This just smells luscious, and yeah, making some lavender pouches as gifts for friends I think will be a great idea. Lastly, Lastly, for my sewing, I've cut my pignon pants finally on my kind of like crafty weekend with my friend Marla. We had the grand plan of making the pignon pants together. I was so groggy, like I was so tired that I mostly spent my time knitting on the couch. She did as well, but she managed to at least cut out the fabric. I did not. I was just laying on the couch cutting out the pattern. So at least now I have the pattern, which is like 1,000 pieces. So that's fun. And my friend, she also got this fabric for us. And yeah, it's a beautiful, dark, rich, pretty heavy canvas. Obviously gave her the money for this, but she acquired this in one of her local fabric shops in Wiesbaden, which is also in the middle of Germany, so just a couple of hours away from where I live. And yeah, we'll have matching pants eventually. One goal for my autumn knitting plans is to at least cut out the pieces. I'm the slowest sewer. Yeah, I'm the slowest when it comes to sewing, especially when there's like things in the pattern that I've never done before and that are intimidating me, like putting in a zipper, putting in a button. Oh my gosh. So many pockets in this like military style, like is it carpenter style? It's like a Carhartt-esque kind of pants, and I've been in love with the pants. I bought the pattern immediately, not thinking that it might be more difficult than like my skill level. But yeah, with the help of my friend, I will be able to make this. And I would at least like to cut out the fabric. She pre-washed it already, like she did all the work, and I just need to cut it out. Yeah. Okay, sewing plans done. I'd like to share a couple of acquisitions. You've seen a couple of the yarns that I got, which hasn't been too much. I've been quite good with my stash goals, but also inviting some stash or some yarn into my stash. And I did actually get a few braids of spinning fiber. For my job, I researched something about spinning fiber for Strick Verliebt, and I had been hearing about das Mondschaf quite a bit from my friend Marla as well. She had purchased some yarn from them. I had only purchased a couple of mini skeins from them previously at the Swiss Yarn Festival last year. And so when I saw that they had spinning fiber, I had to get a couple. They weren't very expensive at all and had some quite interesting blends. So this is a Blue-Faced Leicester, 100% Blue-Faced Leicester, gorgeous bat, nor it's a top, like a braid. Then I also got a wool, silk, and linen bat. It's again a braid, not a bat, sorry. And lastly, I got 100% Shetland braid as well. So yeah, these beautiful bats. I'd love to spin through them eventually. I could see myself making a bit of a bigger shawl with 3 of them. I think they would actually go quite well in one project. We'll see if and when I get to that. I don't really have a big fiber stash at all. I have a couple of bats or braids here and there, but not a ton, so I don't mind buying a bit more spinning fiber, as I know that I'll be spinning through it, especially when Tour de Fleece comes around again, and now that I'm also doing a kind of Welta de Fleece kind of thing, Welta a Fleece. And yeah, quick media and life update. I'm currently reading The Wedding People, and I've been loving it. I do listen to it as an audiobook at the moment because I haven't been able to focus on like person books, like physical books as much. I've also been loving playing Stardew Valley again. After a couple of months of not touching my Nintendo, I've been really loving getting back into it. And I've also been still really enjoying cooking quite a bit. I'll insert some pictures of stuff I've been cooking recently. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's inspirational to you. I always love seeing what other people are cooking. I'm so nosy. And I've also been still enjoying my running journey. I've recently accomplished my 5K training plan with Runner that I did over like 2 months. I started that like a month into trying to run. I've recently, I think this week, I will accomplish, or I will have run 100 kilometers over the last 3 months and a bit. So that's been super fun. I've really been loving it, and now I'm continuing with my 10K training. And yeah, that's mostly all it. I might insert some vloggy bits if I did manage to take some. And yeah, this video has also already been long enough. I gotta get my stuff together. I gotta get some lunch into my belly. I gotta watch the Angliru, and I gotta go on my run. And yeah, now I'm like, I have a week of time off work this next week, which is gonna be nice. We were going to go on a hiking trip to Bavaria, to like Berchtesgaden. Is like a beautiful yeah, it's like a destination spot for people who love to hike. The weather is supposed to be super rainy like throughout most of the time that we're supposed to go there, and so we just decided to stay home and take some cozy time here, maybe go yeah, to the sauna, to I don't know, go on a hike here in our local area, which would also be nice to explore a bit more, and yeah, to just take time for our sport and our books, and yeah, just us to just enjoy some free time together, because life and work can get quite a bit, and we often don't see each other a lot throughout the week when we're both working. So yeah, just having a week off without going away, I think it'll be quite nice. But yeah, I'm getting rambly. Okay, so this is the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy and got some good progress on your knitting or crochet or embroidery project, whatever you've been working on. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next episode. I hope you are taking care of yourselves and the people around you, especially in this climate right now. I think this is super important that we try to focus on community, even if it's online, if it's local, if it's family, if it's friends. Try to look out for each other, and yeah, okay. Happy knitting, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.